Good morning, children. Today we are on to the next video on isomerism, and in today's session we will be talking about stereoisomerism. So there are three types of stereoisomerism: conformational, geometrical and optical. But we will be doing two because optical is a part of class 12. So we'll be discussing in today's session conformational and geometrical isomerism. Now, what is conformational isomerism? Conformational isomerism is exhibited by alkanes. It's exhibited by alkanes, and the basic requirement for this type of the isomerism is the presence of the double bond. Okay, so suppose we have to define what is conformational isomerism. It is along the single bond how many possible arrangements you can have. Like for example, I will explain it. Let me show you. Suppose I take ethane. I'm just holding this sticks to explain ethane. And see, this center is one carbon, this center is another carbon, and these terminal ones are hydrogen atom. Okay, so in this particular position, you are able to see that the terminal, these hydrogen atoms of both the carbons are on the same direction. All the hydrogens are in the same direction. If I hold it like this, they are exactly overshadowing each other. Okay, so if I keep one carbon fixed, say left carbon I'm keeping fixed, and I can go on rotating this right side carbon, at every one position you will have one isomer of ethane. Okay, this is conformational isomerism. The infinite number of the arrangements which are possible for the atoms around the space when you are rotating, along the single bond. I'm just rotating, keeping one fixed, I'm just rotating. Okay, so there are two extreme isomers of this which we are going to discuss just now. Now, to represent the two extreme isomers, we are going to take help of the different forms. Like the first one was represented by sawhorse, which is called as sawhorse representation. It is sawhorse representation. So, what is there in sawhorse representation? The carbon atoms are not shown. They are just shown with the help of the bonds, like this. This is one carbon atom, this is another carbon atom. They're just represented with this. And then if I draw three hydrogen atoms on this carbon atom, and I also show three hydrogen atoms here, let me mark these. These are represented. These hydrogen atoms are represented, but carbon atom is not shown. Just with the bonds we are representing. So you can see here in the first example which I have shown, the hydrogen atoms present on the front carbon atom, that is this carbon atom, and the back side, these are in the same direction. So these hydrogens are totally eclipsing the backside hydrogens. So this is called as eclipsed conformation. Okay, this is one extreme case I am making. The another extreme case which I am making is, suppose I make these hydrogen atoms and this side I show three more. You can make out here what it is. The three hydrogen atoms which are present here and the ones which are present here, they are as far as possible. They are as far as maximum distance is there. This type of conformation is called as staggered conformation. This is staggered conformation. Now, which one do you think should be more stable? Obviously, the staggered conformation should be more stable. Why it should be more stable? Because the distance between the hydrogen atoms is maximum. Where they are as far as possible, obviously that will be more stable because there will be less repulsion. So we will be only focusing on this the conformational isomers of ethane. Now let us take another type of representation, that is Newman's projection formula. That is also one of the way of showing the conformational isomers of ethane, but it was shown by Newman, so the name is Newman projection formula. For both we are going to do, that is for staggered and for eclipse. In that, what is done? the carbon atom which is facing us. Now it is observed in a different view. Earlier I showed you like this, carbon atom here, carbon atom. Now they are shown like this. Okay, so carbon atom which is facing the viewer, the upside one, is shown with the circle, and the 3 hydrogen atoms on it are also shown. Okay, and the backside carbon atom is not represented. Only hydrogens which are coming out from the carbon atoms, they are shown, and they are shown with a dotted line. The hydrogen atom of the backside carbon atom are just shown with the dots. Okay, now again you can see from this angle, if I'm viewing, I am able to see all the hydrogen atoms of the front side carbon and the back side, and they are as far as possible. So this is called as the staggered conformation. Okay, this is the staggered conformation. If I have to show the eclipsed conformation, then I will show the front side carbon, all the hydrogens I'm going to show. Okay, and the back side one, they're actually as just behind it, so they're not visible, but we are going to show with the dotted line just closer to it. We will show just closer to it with the dotted line. This is eclipsed conformation. This is eclipsed conformation of ethane. In between, actually, you have various other, I said no, infinite number of the isomers are possible, because when you keep one carbon fixed and go on rotating at every one position of one of the carbon atom, you will get different isomers. Okay, you will have in between, there is one more also, you will find they are giving skew isomerism. What is skew? Suppose I mark it somewhere here, somewhere in between, that is called as the skew. Okay, but otherwise when we will normally focus upon these two, staggered and eclipse, which one is more stable is the staggered conformation is more stable. Okay, now one more question which is asked here is that the two conformational isomers, they are interconvertible into each other. They are easily there is nothing like this is existing as the ethane may exist as staggered or may exist as eclipse. Both are interconvertible. So as a result, it is not possible. It is not possible. You can write here not, otherwise you'll get confused. It is not possible to separate the two forms. It is not possible to isolate the two forms, the two conformational isomers. Or we can say two conformations, conformations of ethane, we can say. You cannot isolate them. Why you cannot isolate them? Because they're easily interconvertible and the energy difference between the two is very less. It is around 12.55 kilojoules per mole. Kilojoules per mole. Only this much energy difference is there between the eclipsed and the staggered conformation. So that means the energy barrier is very less, so they can get converted into each other's very easily. So that is why we are not able to isolate the two forms readily. Clear? Now let us talk about another type of the stereoisomerism, that is geometrical isomerism. Now what is geometrical isomerism? The geometrical isomerism will be exhibited by alkenes. The basic requirement for a compound to exhibit the geometrical isomerism is a double bond. Double bond should be there. That means alkenes are going to exhibit this type of isomerism. Now what it is, let me take example and explain. Suppose I take example of this. I'm showing here. Say this is H, this is H. If I write the IUPAC name, it is 1, 2 dichloroethene. 1, 2 dichloroethene. Now I am writing one more form of it, and then let us see what is the difference between the two. This side I have just taken the chlorines on the opposite side. See here, both the chlorines are on the same side of the double bond. These are the two carbons bearing double bond. These are the two carbon bearing double bond, and chlorines are present on both the carbon atoms on the same side. In this particular example, the two chlorines are present in the opposite side. This is also 1,2-dichloroethene. But only thing is, when you write the similar groups on the same side of the double bond, it is called as cis isomer. And if the dissimilar groups are on the same side, or you can say the similar groups are on the opposite side, then it is called as trans, and then the name, same name you will copy down, trans 1,2-dichloroethene. Okay, this is one example I have considered. Let me take some more examples. I'm writing one more example. See, carbon carbon double bond. Okay, let me write for both carbon carbon double bond, and in this case I have written hydrogens on this side and methyl group here, methyl group here. In the second example I have taken methyl this side, methyl on the opposite side, hydrogen and hydrogen. Now you know that this is cis isomer and this is trans isomer, and if you name it, it is butene. Okay, this is cis isomer of butene, this is trans isomer of butene. So what can we say? What are geometrical isomers? These are those which have same structural formula. Then what are they different in? They are having the same structural formula, but they differ in the spatial arrangement. They are differing in the spatial arrangement of atoms or group of atom. We can say atoms or the group of atoms around double bond. Around double bond. Okay, so that means around the double bond, the spatial arrangement means in space. How they are arranged in the space is different. In one form, if you compare with the other one, how they are arranged in the space is different. So that is what you get two isomers, that is cis and trans isomer. Okay, now if we compare the properties of cis and trans, there are a lot of differences in them. Let us consider what are the differences in the properties of cis and trans. So now we will see what are the differences in the properties of the geometrical isomers, cis and trans. So we are going to discuss these four properties. Melting point. Now what is cis isomer? I hope you remember what was cis. I'm just drawing it here for you. I'm taking the simplest example and showing you. This is one example we considered, and another one is carbon carbon double bond, and chlorine we have drawn here, and hydrogen this side. I've taken the first example which I considered. Now melting point. Melting point is greater for the trans form. This has more. So we can say this is cis column and this one is trans column. So we can say this has greater. Trans has the greater melting point. The reason for it, in the trans form, the similar groups are present in the opposite side. So the packing will be more effective. This will be more closely packed. This is more closely packed. Because it is more closely packed, it will be very difficult to separate them. So basically what is melting point? We know solid to liquid form. So they are in the solid form. That means the symmetric packing is there. Because of very effective packing in the trans, the melting point of the trans form is greater than the cis form. Now if we compare the boiling point is greater for the cis form. Cis form has greater boiling point than the trans form. Now what can be the probable reason for it? In the cis form, since the similar groups are present on the same side, of the carbons bearing double bond, so there will be more repulsion. More repulsion means the hindrance is there in a way. Hindrance means the size of the molecule is comparatively bigger in this. Size is bigger means the van der Waals forces will be more. We say size, if it is big, if the size is big, you will have more van der Waals forces of attraction. So in this, because the similar groups are present on the same side, there is more repulsion, more hindrance. Due to more hindrance, they move away from each other. That means the size becomes comparatively bigger. That is why van der Waals forces will be more in cis form. So trans form will have less boiling point. Right? Now, dipole moment. Dipole moment, if you compare for this example only, in this chlorine is more electronegative. So if I mark the bond dipole moment, this will be in this direction. Individual bond moment will be here. This bond moment will be in this direction. So both are in the opposite side. So they are going to cancel out. So for trans isomer, we say the dipole moment is 0. Whereas for the cis isomer, it is not 0. So we can say the dipole moment is greater for the cis form, and the trans form it is 0 because it is getting cancelled here, and in this one it is not getting cancelled. Clear? Now let us take another example of the solubility. It is seen that the cis isomer is more soluble. Cis isomer is more soluble than the trans isomer. It is more soluble than trans. Okay, what is the reason for it? The cis isomer is less symmetrical. This is less symmetrical. So when it is less, as we said, no, here it is more symmetrical packing. More packing means it is less soluble. It is difficult to break, to separate them out. So this one is less symmetrical. Less symmetrical means loosely packed. Loosely packed means comparatively more soluble. So cis isomer is more soluble than trans. Till here clear? See, I've written one more example of cis and trans. This is cis isomer, and the cis isomer is called as malic acid. It is malic acid. This one is also called as fumaric. Sometimes the names are also different when they consider cis or the trans form. Okay, if you want to name this particular compound, give the IUPAC name. It is bute, 4 carbon atom bute, 2 position in, so butene, and then 1,4-dioic acid. Okay, so you can name correspondingly the another example also. Sometimes you may have a question like any compound is given and you're asked whether this is going to exhibit cis or trans isomerism or not. So what are you going to do? You'll identify the 2 carbons which are bearing the double bond, right? So you can just separate the things which are present on it. One you are having is methyl, another side you're having hydrogen. There is a double bond, and on this there is hydrogen and hydrogen. Okay, so will this exhibit cis and trans? For cis and trans, what are we normally doing? We are keeping one carbon fixed and the other you're just changing the positions, right? So will this be exhibiting? No, it will not be exhibiting the geometrical isomerism, because even if I flip this, I bring this hydrogen here or here, it is not going to make a difference. So they on the adjacent carbon atom, means on the 2 carbons which are bearing a double bond, there should be similar or the dissimilar groups. So you might be wondering that this is both are having hydrogen, then why not? But the other one is also hydrogen here. So if you are going to flip, then this is not going to matter. This is not a different formula then. Same way here, on one carbon atom itself, the 2 groups also should not be same. If they are same, it is not going to exhibit the geometrical isomerism. Had there been methyl here, both were methyl, then also it is not going to exhibit. So it is clear, I suppose. So it is seen that the terminal alkenes means if the double bond is present at the end, this one is also at the end. If the double bond is at the end, that is terminal alkene, propene, but1-ene, 2-methyl prop1-ene, they are not going to exhibit the geometrical isomerism. So the necessary condition for a compound to exhibit the geometrical isomerism is the presence of the double bond, but double bond should be somewhere in the center, not at the end. If it is there at the end, it is not possible, because on the terminal carbon then there will be both hydrogens. So even if you flip it, it is not going to make any difference. So I hope you have followed now the geometrical and conformational isomerism. Okay, optical is also a part of the stereoisomerism, but that we'll be considering in class 12 in haloalkanes. So I hope this much is clear to you all. Please, you can share it with your friends, and if you're having any doubts, you can put it in the comment section. Thanks for watching.